Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I swear it seems like the closer we get to this election, the more Donald Trump wants to show people who he really is. Now, even though Donald Trump has actually been quoting Hitler almost word for word in a lot of his rallies, which I'm going to show you a side-by-side clip of, for anybody who tries to defend him and says he's not the next Hitler, one thing you cannot deny is the Nazis, they definitely believe he's the next Hitler. And something else we can all agree upon is there are no Nazis supporting Kamala Harris. Speaking of Nazis, back in 1939, there was a huge Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. More than 20,000 people attended. And the stage featured a huge portrait of George Washington with two huge swastikas on both sides. Now you fast forward to present day, and there is a direct parallel that Donald Trump, he's doing a rally in Madison Square Garden with some of the most racist rhetoric we've ever heard. Now, before I play a clip of some of the things that was said at this rally, it's very important to note every single speaker was vetted by the Trump campaign before being invited to speak. What the speaker said was approved by Trump's campaign and loaded into the teleprompter. Now, some of the things that was said at this rally was so racist that even people in the boxing community are talking about it.
I get back and they go, Sid, you want to speak at this MSG thing? I go, sure. Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig.
It slips out. They all know exactly what it was, a Nazi rally, and they don't care.
Oh, but there is much more. So basically, there was a Nazi comedian at this rally. Now listen to what he says about Puerto Ricans. And mind you, not only are there obviously a lot of Puerto Ricans in the United States, but there was some Puerto Ricans that were there at this rally supporting Donald Trump. And not to mention Puerto Rico is U.S. territory.
Right now. A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there.
Now, of all people, Dan Raphael, he reacted to this video and he called this guy an ultimate piece of ish. Boxing trainer Breadman Stephen Edwards, he said, is this one of those AI things or did he really just say that? I honestly don't know anymore. Now, let me show you this clip of Donald Trump introducing this Puerto Rican star, Nicky Jam, to the stage. And he doesn't even know who he is. He thinks it's a hot chick. I think he thought it was Nicki Minaj.
Latin music superstar, Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. Where's Nicky? Where's Nicky? Thank you, Nicky. Great to be having you here. Now you have to get, oh look, come here. I'm glad he came up.
It's an honor to me to meet you, Mr. President. People that come from where I come from, they don't meet the president, so I'm lucky. I'm gonna say this, but
not only did Donald Trump embarrass and make Nicky Jam look like a damn fool, but Nicky got so much backlash from his Puerto Rican and other Latino fans that he had to disable his comments on Instagram. He even endorsed Donald Trump on his Instagram. And since he got all the backlash, he's actually deleted the endorsement post. Now look at all these comments that he was getting bombarded with on Instagram before he disabled his comments. Every single post in his comment section was somebody denouncing him. But here's someone who was actually trying to defend him.
So I'm sure many of you have already heard that a Spanish group called Mana have completely canceled Nicky Jam because he endorsed Donald Trump on Friday. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I'm not upset that this happened, because as a Trump supporter myself, I was very upset to see that they posted this. We don't work with racists. Because he supports Donald Trump?
Yep. It's only common sense that you are who you hang out with. This next person, he completely shredded Nicky Jam. By fact-checking him, he brought all the receipts.
Otro estúpido, another stupid dumbass. This is motherfucking Nicky Jam, a Puerto Rican rapper, who was brought on stage by Donald Trump literally just now to go on stage and speak to the Latino community, particularly Puerto Ricans, and tell them to go vote for Donald Trump. The only problem was, because his name is Nicky Jam, Donald Trump thought that he was a fucking woman.
Latin music superstar, Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. Where's Nicky? Oh, look. Come here. I'm glad it came up.
Okay, so he wildly disrespected you by not knowing who the you were and just bringing you up to pander to a specific group of people. But what exactly did you say when you got up there?
I'm gonna say this, but we need you. We need you back, right? We need you to be the president. Apart from that, I gotta say this in Spanish.
Dilo.
Han pasado 4 años y no ha pasado nada. Necesitamos a Trump. Let's make America great again.
So when he said, han pasado 4 años y no ha pasado nada, he's basically saying 4 years have passed and nothing has happened. Well, Nicky Jam, let me learn you something. Google is free and you can look at the White House. The bipartisan infrastructure law that the Biden-Harris administration was able to pass, the funding already provided $1.1 billion for dozens of infrastructure projects across Puerto Rico. That includes approximately $596 million for transportation, roads, bridges, public transports, ports, and airports, and $185 million for clean water. Biden also hosted the Puerto Rican Economic Dialogue to advance whole-of-government commitments to Puerto Rico, particularly those including small businesses. Mind you, this was in 2023 when the federal and territorial governments jointly implemented workforce development, infrastructure, energy, and resilience, building a diversified economy, and improving governance and data. To advance those actions, the Deputy Secretary Graves traveled to Puerto Rico in February of 2023 to meet with government, civic, academic, community, and private sector leaders. The Biden-Harris administration also delivered unprecedented relief and made lasting investments for Puerto Rico's families, workers, municipalities, and businesses. Puerto Rico's territorial and 78 municipal governments received $4 billion in American Rescue Plan state and local fiscal recovery funds to respond to public health and economic impacts of the pandemic, of which Donald Trump mishandled. Those historic investments included over $600 million to reward workers with bonus pay and $143 million to help local governments maintain essential services and keep police and firefighters on the job. Biden also brought in the tax benefits to an unprecedented scale by expanding the child tax credit in Puerto Rico to all families with at least one child, permanently bringing the child tax credit benefits into parity with America. The average annual benefit was $4,700 per family, with more than $1.2 billion dispersed to families in Puerto Rico. He also delivered with the rental assistance program, delivered $250 million in rent and utility assistance through December 2022, providing 244,000 payments to households in Puerto Rico facing the threat of eviction. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is a long-ass webpage. But I hope the money was worth it, pendejo.
Man, he didn't get paid for that. He did that for free just to be in Donald Trump's presence. He would have paid Donald Trump's campaign to be there on that stage. Now, mind you, this happened well over a month ago. And after this recent Madison Square Garden rally, everybody is tagging Nicky Jam, as you guys can see right here on the screen. There's a reason why almost every person, almost every celebrity that endorses Donald Trump or denounces Kamala Harris, they receive tremendous backlash on the internet. Patrick Mahomes' wife, she received backlash just because she liked the post of Donald Trump putting up his GOP platform, his plans, if he gets elected. Well, she received so much backlash, she unliked the post. But it was too late because Donald Trump was already using her name in his rallies, saying that she's a fan of his. Janet Jackson, she received a lot of backlash for saying that she heard that Kamala Harris was white or her father was white. And it was clearly just a MAGA talking point. But Ice Cube, he received a lot of backlash just for telling black people not to vote, while about 70 to 80 million racists are going to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, Ice Cube, he might as well just tell black people to vote for Trump. After all, he is doing interviews with Tucker Carlson and actually hanging out with him. Jermaine Dupri, he came out and apologized because he got so much backlash for saying something about Kamala Harris. And now he's endorsing her. Guys, and this is why I say, for these people on the internet that, post comments on YouTube, using fake profiles, remaining anonymous, telling everybody that you voting for Trump in the dark, I ain't got no problem with you supporting Trump. But go on your Facebook, go on your Instagram, where people can actually see you and let everybody know that you're supporting Trump. So the people that you know that aren't racist, they could decide if they want to associate with you or not. Because I don't associate with none of them, and I mean that. Now, let me play another clip of what the Nazi comedian said.
All right, heck yeah, it's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that, a lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
So you got Nazis dissing black people, and you have this small percentage of black people talking about if Kamala Harris is black or not, saying crazy stuff like she's trying to dance to get our vote, but they say nothing about the Nazis. They don't even have a problem with the Nazis. What kind of upside down world are we living in? Now, just like there were Puerto Rican Trump supporters in that audience, there were black Trump supporters in that same audience. They had one of the biggest coons in the country, Byron Donald, speak at this rally. And you know what song they played before he came up to speak? They played Dixie, which is the Confederacy anthem song.
Congressman Byron Donald.
I mean, you can't make this shit up. Watermelon jokes, the Confederacy anthem song, and then you got a black man coming out to speak after all of that. Now, let me just play one more clip of what the Nazi comedian said.
I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
Now, he just confirmed exactly what I just said in my last video about this topic, which is the racists don't distinguish between Latino immigrants or Latinos that live in America. They see them as unwanted Latinos in general. Once again, this is the reason why he said Puerto Rico is just a floating island of garbage. Everything this man just said right now is literally what you would hear at an official Nazi or KKK rally. Did you guys know that Donald Trump comes from a German family? And Trump is not his original last name. His original German last name was Drumpf, but they changed it to Trump to make it sound more American. So this further explains why Donald Trump often praises Hitler, and he says he wants his generals to be more like Hitler's generals.
I mean, he frequently said to senior staff, why don't my generals support me the way that Hitler's generals supported him? And of course, Hitler's generals, for the most part, did not support him. They tried to assassinate him several times. But just the fact that the president would think of himself, the fact that President Trump would think of himself in the same sentence as Hitler is a terrifying thing. The man quotes Hitler. I mean, phrases like poisoning the blood of the country and enemies of the people, those are things said by Hitler and Stalin as well. And it's not as if he's accidentally quoting them when it's brought to his attention. Sir, you just quoted Hitler. You just quoted Stalin or Lenin. He doesn't mind. He says it again.
Here are some of those Hitler quotes that Donald Trump has repeated in his own rallies. You guys could read them on the screen. But understand this, Donald Trump's own daughter said that Donald Trump, he keeps Hitler's speeches right on the side of his bed and Hitler's book, Mein Kampf. Here's what Stephen Espinoza had to say. He said, if you're a Trumper, these are the kind of people you're supporting. And it's not just words. Trump made Puerto Rico wait 2 years for full hurricane relief. And he idiotically floated trading Puerto Rico for Greenland. When people show you who they are, believe them. So I guess that 15% of black men, they'll actually vote for Kamala if she starts to praise Hitler. Now, let me just say this. Anybody that supports Donald Trump is a complete racist.
Now, I apologize. I really don't apologize, man, because a lot of my fans get mad at me when I talk bad about him. But I think it's safe to say most people in our culture do not.
Well, you need to know that. You need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. Ain't no fucking way around. Don't even try to put no.
I don't even want to put anything around.
I do. I don't give a fuck. I tell him straight up, motherfucker. If you like that, you motherfucker racist. Fuck you and fuck him. Now what?
All right.
Draw the line. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the motherfucking lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. But nigga, you drew the line and start pointing motherfuckers out and saying, y'all didn't.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking
Kanye
about
too. Forget about him too. Fuck you too.
Now, when I give you guys all this information, I'm not making this video to try to persuade some racist Trump supporter to switch over. I don't care what the racists do. I'm making this video to let the anti-racists know how stupid they look and who your friends are if any of them are supporting this Nazi. Let's look at some of the articles that came out after Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. Trump rally opens with insults aimed at Latino, Black, Jewish, and Arab American voters. That was by the New York Times. Here's another one by The Guardian. Trump repeats enemy from within rhetoric at Madison Square Garden. Now remember, guys, enemy from within is a quote from Hitler. The Daily News. Trump's MSG event turns into ugly racist rally. Speakers insult Puerto Ricans, blacks, and Jews. Here's one by Time Magazine. Trump rally at Madison Square Garden marked by racist and lewd jokes. Well, guys, the reason why this Trump rally is so reminiscent of the 1939 Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden is because Donald Trump intended for it to be. You know, the last time I made a Trump video, I had somebody in my comment section saying like, so who you gonna vote for, Kamala? You know, that's such an insulting question when you have a non-black person asking a black man, who you gonna vote for? You gonna pick the black candidate over the Nazi? And that person was actually asking that question and saying it like it was a bad thing. I mean, it's no different than a race fan telling some black American, oh, you're on Devin Haney's payroll, as if an American supporting the American boxer is a bad thing. Imagine accusing a Japanese boxing fan of being on the Oya Inoue's payroll because he's saying something good about him. We know that would never happen. Stuff like that only happens in America because America is the home of the race fans. And come election day, there's going to be a whole lot of race fans voting for the Nazi. Now, most of you guys, you know that I live in this wonderful paradise called Thailand. And not only do I still pay American taxes, but I've already sent in my ballot and voted for Kamala. A lot of you guys don't know this, but there are actually over 1 million Americans living abroad that are voting in this election and are going to play a major role in the election. Now, and I want to shout out all the brothers, all the Americans that are actually living overseas. Matter of fact, if you are living overseas, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know what country you're living in. And by the way, I'm not trying to say I know how all these people overseas are going to vote, but I'm just letting you know it's a lot of them that will vote.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Welcome to the Democrats Abroad Arizona candidate event. I'm Katie Solon. I'm with the Arizona State team. I live near Munich, Germany. And right now I'm in Maricopa County, where I vote and where I'm doing my DA work remotely and door knocking for candidates, including some of those on this call.
So that was just one small example of, once again, the Americans that are voting and working abroad. They're not just voting, but they're actually volunteers for the campaigns. You know, I have to reiterate the point. It's just amazing when you have so many white people out there that are actually pointing out the fact that Donald Trump is a complete Nazi, and then you have this small percentage of black men that continue to discount Kamala Harris while completely ignoring what Donald Trump is saying about the black race.
As we talked about a couple weeks ago, Trump had a Nazi rally in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and it was worse than anything I could have imagined.
Agree. I thought I was shock-proof when it came to Trump, but that showed me that I can still be shocked. It was so craven and vile and racist. I could not believe it.
All right, let's start off with a clip from Stephen Miller, who I assume is probably the mastermind behind this horrific, cruel idea to have a Nazi rally. And here he says in this clip something eerily similar to what Adolf Hitler said in the 1930s.
Now, it's really interesting that she would say maybe Stephen Miller, maybe it was his idea to put this Nazi rally together, because people are not really paying attention to what's going on, because Stephen Miller is trying to imitate Joseph Goebbels. For those of you guys who don't know who he is, he was Hitler's minister of propaganda. I'm going to play the clip and you guys are going to see how he tries to talk and act exactly like Joseph Goebbels.
The cartels are gone. The criminal migrants are gone. The gangs are gone. America is for Americans and Americans only.
That is exactly what Adolf Hitler said in Germany. Germany is for Germans and Germans only. None of this is a coincidence that the Nazis had a rally in the 1930s at Madison Square Garden, and it's all documented. There's video of it. So all of these people that are on this side of history, it's documented.
Once again, Stephen Miller, the way he talks, the way he moves his hands when he talks, the tone that he uses, you can tell that he has completely studied Hitler's minister of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels. And let me say this as well. This ain't about no damn left or right, red or blue. You're either a Nazi sympathizer or you're not.
But I can say with absolute certainty, I will never again in my lifetime vote for a Republican because they have allowed this racist insanity to go completely unchecked. But for Republicans' weakness and their fealty to Trump, we would not be facing another potential 4 years of this wannabe Hitler in control of our country. I don't think I have ever hated someone as much as I hate Donald Jerkoff Trump. And it is primarily because he has given license to the bigots to spew their sick insanity and their insecurity in the form of racism. So anyway.
Now let me give you the stark contrast when it comes to Kamala Harris. This next clip I'm gonna play is by the Defiant Lawyers Network. This brother right here is a civil rights lawyer.
Let's get into this video. I'm gonna share with you right now something that if you're hell bent on voting for Donald Trump and you are a black man and you are still gonna vote for Trump, after what I am about to show you in just a matter of seconds, you're just under Trump's spell. You're just following a cult because there is no sane, logical, rational reason to justify that vote. Or maybe you just hate Kamala because she's a female, because she was a prosecutor.
Now, let me just say this real quick. Speaking of prosecutors, Killer Mike, he came out and said he would never vote for a prosecutor. Do you know how stupid and ignorant you sound? Not only was it a black prosecutor that convicted and indicted Donald Trump, his name is Alvin Bragg, but there's another black prosecutor who's trying to convict Donald Trump right now for other crimes, and that's prosecutor Fani Willis. Let me read a little bit of this article. This is the headline. Meet the black prosecutors behind Donald Trump's latest legal troubles. Donald Trump claims he'll be arrested soon thanks to Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. Bragg joins two black women prosecutors and Howard graduates who have been investigating the former president. Not only that, but if black prosecutors like Alvin Bragg, Fani Willis, Kamala Harris was working the Trayvon Martin case, was working the Tamir Rice case, without a doubt they would have got justice. Because the prosecutor that was working the Trayvon Martin case was a racist Republican. She was asked to step down after she convicted a black woman to 20 years in jail for shooting at her husband. Not actually shooting him, but shooting at him. Prosecutor Angela Corey, she put Marissa Alexander in jail for 20 years for aggravated assault. So she couldn't manage to put George Zimmerman in jail for murder, but she was successful at convicting a black woman for aggravated assault. We know what time it is. So when it comes to Killer Mike, he sounds like a damn fool that don't know what's going on. Let's get back to this video.
But even what you're going to see now, even those things don't justify what you are about to see. And the best part of this is it comes straight from Trump himself. Let's look at this. Now, what Trump did was he created a Project 2025 list for Kamala because he got pummeled after folks found out about the Project 2025 list that he has in place to implement if he gets elected. So now that so teed him off and rubbed him wrong. So he created a list, a Project 2025 list for Kamala. And this list tells you everything you need to know about what he intends to do for black people and what Kamala intends to do for black people. And the first thing I want you to see here, the first thing is if you go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sixth item on this list, he says that Kamala's Project 2025 includes taxpayer-funded reparations. She supports taxpayer-funded reparations. So there he tells you that Kamala is for reparations. Where does he get that from? He gets it from Kamala because she has said so many times. In many interviews, she has said so. And he knows that that is one of her agenda items. But the flip side is, it's not one of his. He has no intention of giving black people reparations. Hello, FBA people. Hello, ADOS. Hello, Philip Scott. Hello, all of you folks. Hello, are you listening? Trump is talking. He's talking. He's letting us know where he is. He will not and does not support reparations. Doesn't support them. Kamala does.
Kamala Harris has just unveiled her new agenda for black men, so I want to highlight 10 specific steps she would take as president. Number 1, business loans. Black Americans are twice as likely to be denied credit by banks, so Harris would provide 1 million fully forgivable loans up to $20,000 to black entrepreneurs and others. Number 2, more jobs without college degrees. Harris would eliminate unnecessary degree requirements and promote pathways for those without college degrees for 500,000 federal jobs. Number 3, more black male teachers. As a former high school English and social studies teacher, I know it's important for young black males to see black men in front of the classroom as role models and mentors. Only 1% of public school teachers are black men. Harris would create pathways for more black men to become teachers, including apprenticeship programs and loan forgiveness. Number 4, health care. My uncle, who had sickle cell disease, died last year, and I know several black men my age who have been recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. But don't get me started on the mental health needs of black men. We've been traumatized by an unfair criminal justice system and a world that demonizes us instead of understanding us. But Harris would launch a national health equity initiative focused on black men that addresses sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, and prostate cancer. Number 5, weed equity. Black men have been disproportionately arrested and incarcerated for marijuana-related charges. Now that cannabis is becoming more socially acceptable and profitable, it's only fair that we benefit from the changing system that hurt us. Harris wants not only to legalize marijuana, but also create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. Number 6, ban the box. I have a law degree, and yet when I lived in Harlem, I was still stopped in the street, arrested, and locked up in jail. Harris would work with Congress to require businesses to limit the unnecessary use of criminal arrest histories, convictions, and credit scores in employment decisions. Number 7, mentorship programs. Harris would expand funding for community mentorship programs with a proven track record of helping young black men succeed. She'll also support programs like My Brother's Keeper. Number 8, support black farmers. Harris will continue to support black farmers and ranchers who have been denied access to capital. Number 9, relieve medical debt. My stepfather passed away in April 2020 with a mountain of medical debt. Kamala Harris plans to work with states to relieve medical debt, which is the leading cause of bankruptcy in America and disproportionately hurts black Americans. And number 10, crypto protection. More than 20% of black Americans, including me, have owned cryptocurrencies. I lost some money in crypto, but high-risk, high-reward crypto markets provide opportunities outside of the existing stock market for many black men. A Harris administration would protect black men who invest in these assets. So let me answer a few questions I've already seen from critics. Question 1, why didn't she do this the last 4 years? Because she's not the president, she's the vice president. Trump was actually a president. He did none of these things in his 4 years in office. Question 2, but why do some of these policies say black men and others? Well, because Trump's Supreme Court justices and federal judges keep striking down programs that focus only on black people. Trump's Supreme Court ended race-specific affirmative action in college admissions. A Trump-appointed federal judge forced the Minority Business Development Agency to help white people. Another Trump-appointed federal judge blocked the Biden-Harris administration from implementing a disaster relief program for black farmers. Question 3, yeah, but why does it feel like Democrats only care about black women? But the Democratic Party is filled with black men in positions of power and leadership. The highest-ranking Democrat in the U.S. House of Representatives Representatives is Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who will become the first black speaker if Democrats win the House in November. The highest-ranking leader in the military is Lloyd Austin, the first black Secretary of Defense. 2 of the 3 Democratic black U.S. Senators, Raphael Warnock and Cory Booker, are black men. The Democratic governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, is a black man. The mayors of New York City, Chicago, and Atlanta are all black men in the Democratic Party. And the only black person ever elected president, Barack Obama, is also a black man. And question 4, but isn't Trump better for black men? Was he better for Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salaam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise, the exonerated 5 teenagers who went to prison when Trump led a lynch mob against them for a rape they did not commit? Was he better for the black casino workers who sued him for racial discrimination? Was he better for Colin Kaepernick and the NFL players he attacked for taking a knee? Was he better for Eugene Goodman, the Capitol police officer who had to fend off a mob of angry white men who tried to take over the Capitol on January 6th? Was he better for the Haitian American black men in Springfield, Ohio who were subjected to death threats because of Trump's lies about them eating dogs and cats? Was he better for Marcellus Williams, the black man who was executed by the state of Missouri last month because Donald Trump's 3 Supreme Court justices refused to agree with the Democratic justices to stop the execution? Was he better for the black farmers denied relief by his judges? Was he better for the black men who died while he mismanaged the COVID pandemic? And will he be better for the black youth who will be harassed by the police when he brings back stop and frisk? Kamala Harris wants to help black men to build wealth, provide for our families, and lead our communities. Trump wants to use us as political pawns in his angry MAGA campaign. Those are the choices, black men in America. Choose wisely.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.